Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis P11. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel, and today we're going to do a little cleaning of this Girsan MC1911S XLV. The XLV is Roman numerals for 45, and this pistol is chambered in 45 ACP. First things first, I want to give a little shout out to Defense Dad, the Defense Dad channel, for loaning me this pistol for today's cleaning. He was looking forward to me cleaning it because, according to him, it's one of the dirtiest guns he's ever seen out of the box, and I am up for the challenge today. Now, when it comes to the actual cleaning supplies that we're going to use for this video, a shout out to Aegis Gun Care gun cleaning products. Aegis is the supplier of the cleaning supplies that we use on this channel. So if you're new to firearms, just click on the link down below, use the discount code TravisP11, and I will save you 10% off any of the cleaning supplies that you see right here. Make it easy on yourself, pick yourself up one of these field cleaning kits, and you will be all good to go. Everything you see in this picture can be yours, and you're going to be all set to clean multiple calibers of firearms, all the accessories you're going to need, etc. Now, there's just a couple things that I'm going to be adding to what you see right here that we're going to be using. We've got a cleaner, a lubricant, we've got some cleaning rods, some brushes, a bore brush chambered in 45 ACP. We've got a jag that we can use to push patches through the barrel. Some Q-tips. You get much better cotton swabs with the Aegis Gun Care cleaning kit, but I'm currently out of those. I need to get some more, so we're just using standard cotton swabs for today. But when you buy the field kits, you do get multiple calibers, which is really cool. Definitely going to save you some money down the road. Yeah. And the last thing, I also use nitrile gloves when I am cleaning up the firearms, and that's just because you're going to be exposing yourself to lead and residue and chemicals and all that other fun stuff, and we want to make sure that we keep our hands nice and clean. So why don't we get this all clear out of the way, and we will go ahead and get started. Alright, so one of the most important rules of gun safety is to treat every firearm as if it's loaded. So if you happen to see the firearm in this kind of condition, pick it up without touching the trigger, press the magazine release button on the left-hand side, pull the magazine out. Okay, this magazine's empty. Whether it's full or not, let's just set that off to the side. Go ahead and pull back on the slide. We'll push down on the safety lever first. Pull back on the slide, verify that the chamber's empty, look down it. If you want to, you can go ahead and lock it back with your slide stop slide release right here. Verify it's empty, it is. Go ahead and set that down, push it off to the side, and we will go on to the next step. Alright, so if you're using Aegis Gun Care cleaner and also the lubricant, first thing we're going to do is go ahead and spray down the magazines. We're not going to take these magazines apart, but we are going to spray them off because they do have almost like a manufacturing oil that's on them. And once we get those on there, we're going to go ahead and grab one of our patches and just kind of wipe it on. And we're going to let that soak for a couple minutes. Now, you don't really have to do the wipe, but we got a lot of surface area here, and these magazines are actually pretty sticky. It's almost like a cosmoline that comes with these Girsan pistols, and that's just simply how they manufacture it. There's a little bit of tape residue that's still on here also, so we're going to work on that too. So we're going to spray it on, wipe it off, spray it one more time, set that off to the side. We'll let it sit for about 1 or 2 minutes. We'll come back, and then we'll clean it off and get it lubricated. Now, this is just a lint-free cloth, but you do get a blue one that comes with the Aegis Gun Care cleaning kit. So we're going to use the lint-free cloth, and we're going to go ahead and just wipe off that cleaner off the magazine. That's going to take off all that residue and all that sticky stuff that's looking pretty good. Now, those stickers might require maybe a little bit of Goo Gone. That's pretty thick stuff, but the oil is currently off the magazines. We want them nice and clean. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and just apply a little bit of lubricant to a patch, a couple drops of lube, and just go ahead and wipe off the magazines. You want to make sure that you keep the feeding ramps dry though, because you want to keep oil and any other kind of cleaner away from your ammo. Keep it away from your primers. You don't want anything leaching into your ammo while it's sitting in your gun. So we are going to wipe off the feeding ramp with some of that lubricant just to ensure that we have some protectant up there. Okay, this is looking really nice. But then we're going to go ahead and hit it with a dry patch, and we'll go ahead and wipe off the top and get that excess oil out of there. Okay, it's looking pretty nice and shiny, nice and clean. All right, so we're going to set that off to the side. We will move on to the pistol. All right, so this next part is always kind of tricky, but if you have a 1911, you're already familiar with it. You're just going to let the pistol just sit on its back like you see right here. And you've got this cap that goes over the recoil spring. Now, this spring is under pressure, so you want to be careful. What we're basically going to do is press down on this button. We're going to rotate the barrel bushing clockwise. You're going to rotate it off to the right, but you want to be careful because at some point you're going to release all the tension and this is going to shoot out, okay? So we'll show you how to do it very easily and safely, and hopefully you guys can see that okay. Now, if you happen to have a barrel bushing tool, this makes it much easier. This is not required. This actually came with my Ruger SR 1911, and what you simply do is you push down on it and pull a little bit off to the side, and that allows you to slightly move that cover, okay, like you see right here. And then we're going to press down on the button and rotate it all the way. We'll pop off that cover off the recoil spring, okay? But let's just go back and pretend that you don't happen to have that tool. Okay, what are you going to do? Well, let me just show you right now. All right, so because I have gloves on, this is always going to be a little bit tricky, but I'm just going to press down on the button here just a little bit, and then just push that bushing off to the side a little bit with my index finger. just so we kind of get it staged like you see right here. It's just kind of off center a little bit. Then just press down and then just continue pushing that cover off to the right until you clear it and slowly release the tension. There you go. And pull that spring out, set everything down off to the side, and then we'll go on to our next step. All right, guys, so to highlight the details a little bit, I'm going to geek out here a little bit and have my headlamp on for some of this so you can see better. I've got the best lighting we got going on here, but this is what we have. So in order to take off the barrel bushing, we're going to go counterclockwise to about the 3 o'clock position, about the 2 o'clock position. Go ahead and rotate it to the left this time, pull out. That little barrel bushing is going to come right off. That thing is just soaked in oil. And then we're going to talk about how to get the slide off. It's pretty simple. So you've got a little notch right here that's cut in the slide. There's a big notch and a small notch. What you want to do is pull back on the slide. It's going to be a little bit tough to move there. There we go. Now we've got that little notch aligned with your takedown lever, your slide stop, slide release, whatever you want to call it. This particular part right here we want to take out by simply pushing. On the other side there's a little dimple right here. Okay, you're going to press on that. It's going to pop right out. Sometimes you have to align it properly. Sometimes you have to use a little tool to pop it out, but mine just came right out, so we're going to go ahead and pull that out as such. Go ahead and set that off to the side. Go ahead and slide your barrel off. Now at this point, you've also got your little guide rod that came out. Oh man, this thing is just soaked in oil. You got your guide rod right here, so we're going to set that off to the side. And then underneath we also have your barrel, which in order to get your barrel out, all you have to do is push the barrel forward. It's going to slide out of the front of the slide as such. There you go, and set that off to the side. Now I was really kind of curious to see what kind of fit and finish this thing had under the hood. You know, I don't really know much about the Girsan pistols. Really doesn't look that bad. I see no rough marks. I see no rough machining. I mean, it seems to be decent. It doesn't show a whole lot of wear at all from just a few times it's maybe been dry fired or test fired in the factory. It's got some polishing on the back here. That's not bad. I mean, it's pretty much on par with a lot of the entry-level 1911s I've seen before. This barrel is pretty much soaked in oil. Looks decent. I think it's nitride finished barrel if I'm not mistaken, and this may be Cerakoted black. I'm not sure. And then the actual frame itself is very simple, very heavy. It looks good. I mean, this is some decent finishing. There's no, again, no burrs, no rough edges, no casting marks. A lot of these little Turkish 1911s are actually forged, which is a good thing. All right, so at this point, we're just gonna go ahead and saturate everything in cleaner and let it sit for a couple minutes. So go ahead and spray off your barrel with your cleaner. Now, if you've got just a standard CLP, shame on you because you should be using Aegis gun carry products, but that's okay if you don't. Just go ahead and spray everything down, wipe everything down, let it sit and soak for a little while. With your CLPs, you can do that, wipe it all off, and then wipe it down again. So we're just gonna spray everything here, let it sit for 1 to 2 minutes. Give it a good soak here. Hopefully you guys can see everything going on. I'm gonna spray the inside of the slide. And essentially what we're gonna do is just wipe it all off with our lint-free cloth, and that's gonna work out really well. Hang on 1 second here. Let me wipe off my hands. Go ahead and just gently kind of spray down the frame a little bit here from the top. You don't want to saturate it, but just kind of get it in there. Okay, that looks good. All right, so we're going to let everything sit for 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're going to wipe it off, and we'll kind of show you some areas where you can bust out the Q-tips and the cotton swabs and do some fine detail. I forgot to tell you guys I have a little surprise for Defense Stat here, so I'm also going to go ahead and take the grips off. So just using a regular screwdriver, we're going to take those off. We're going to go ahead and spray down the frame. And we'll go ahead and take off these screws here, take off the panels, and then we'll spray down the frame. We're going to wipe everything off, and then we'll go on to the next step. So a little surprise coming up. These grips are going to get changed. All right, so let's go ahead and start wiping everything off. We're going to start off with this little cap here that we have going on. Now there is a little bit of some, almost like some scoring on the metal for the cap right here. It's not grease. At least it's not sticky, so we're going to go ahead and wipe that off. We're just going to wipe everything off with our lint-free cloth. Let's go ahead and wipe off that guide rod. Everything should be nice and dry with no visible residue when we get done with it. Okay, it's looking much better than before. Let's get up on the top there. Again, if you want, you can take a brush to this stuff. Take your little cleaning brush and feel free to take it to the parts. We're going to wipe off the outside of the barrel, then we're going to push a brush down the barrel itself and bust everything out and get that all cleaned out here in just a minute, so hang tight on that. Ooh, look how clean that's coming out. It's getting off all that residue. Now, this is all going to need a little bit of lubricant applied to it because it's almost like a degreaser, what we're doing here. Look at that. That looks so nice. All right, again, nitride finished barrel. Showing very little wear whatsoever. Okay, let's go and clean off the takedown lever slash slide stop slash slide release. I'll let you guys argue what that part's called down below. Okay, looks good. Okay, we'll go and take off that barrel bushing. Now this one, we're going to have to push a patch down the hole right here for the barrel bushing, because we want to get all that residue out of there. I'll just get a patch in there in just a second and wipe that out. But you can do the same, just put your pinky in there with a patch and just wipe out the inside of it, but that's coming out nice and dry, okay? All right, outside of the slide, let's go ahead and wipe it off. We're all done with the cleaner at this point, so go ahead and wipe it all off. Now again, the Aegis Gun Care gun cleaner should be safe on all finishes according to Aegis. I've talked to the owner before about the products before I started using them. By the way, this is cleaning video like 101 or 102 for me, so I got a little bit of experience in this arena. Oh wow, this is coming out nice. Looks good. Excellent. Now we're just wiping off the outside. We're going to do some fine detail work here in just a minute, so hang tight on that. Look at that. Oh my God, looks like it's brand new. Well, it is. But looks better than new. Nice. Okay, we'll get the inside of that here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and wipe off the spring. Okay, getting that all taken care of. Again, I apologize for the annoying headlamp, but this is really hard to show off the detail work if we don't highlight it, so you're going to get it. All right, go ahead and wipe off the frame. Get all that grease off there. There's some inside the grips in here. This thing is just saturated. This is nasty. All right, and there might be a little bit that's going to seep out yet, you know, when you fire it a couple times and take it apart and clean it. Eventually, all that original manufacturing oil will disappear. Let's go and wipe off the frame. Now again, we're going to take some Q-tips to these channels right here that your slide rides on. We're going to get that cleaned out here in just a second. I'm going to do some of the fine detail work here in just a moment, so hang tight there. Again, lubrication won't be too difficult. Again, this whole thing is going to have just a very gentle coat of oil put all around it as a preservative. Now, there's going to probably be some grease that'll be coming out of where the trigger assembly is. That's going to happen quite a bit. I don't think you can really get around that. That's just because it's kind of in that wedge. Unless you take that trigger out and take the whole gun apart, which we're not going to be doing today. This is just more of a field strip and cleaning, if you will. Push the cleaning cloth down into the magazine well a little bit here real quick. Get this part cleaned out. All right, now what we want to do is go ahead and just take your Q-tips or your cotton swabs. Hopefully you got some of those sweet, sweet Aegis fine point cleaning swabs that I was talking about. Those things work great. I'm missing being out of those. I definitely need to order some. Get those channels wiped out nice and clean. It's interesting. You can almost kind of see where they didn't spray any kind of Cerakote or black finish on the frame. It's a little bit lighter. But it doesn't matter because the slide's going to be over it anyway, so we don't really care. You're going to start to notice a little bit of wear where the metal on metal contact is, and those are the points where you want to make sure that you apply oil when you do your cleaning. Okay, it looks great. All right, let's go ahead and just set that off to the side. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the slide here. So go ahead and get your Q-tips down on those channels and get those cleaned out, get those wiped out. These are pretty clean. First couple times you take it to the range, you're definitely going to notice some muck coming off there. Looks good. Okay, now grab another cotton swab. Get the channels down here on the back part of the slide right down here. So go ahead and just wipe those off. Get all that grease out of there, all that finishing oil out of there. Get some lube in there in just a moment. Looks nice. Okay, get those channels wiped out. Anything where you can see some residue, you want to make sure you get all that gun cleaner out of there, okay? All right, now let's go ahead and wipe out the cap here, the recoil spring cap. I'm going to go and wipe that out. It's got a lot of crap in it. If you want, you can push a patch down in there on a jag if you want to, get it cleaned out. I'm probably going to do that here in a second. And then the inside of the barrel bushing, we're going to wipe that out with a Q-tip. And we are about ready for lubrication. All right, now the barrel, we're going to go ahead and just take our 45 ACP barrel brush. We're just going to push that down the barrel. I'm kind of stupid about this. I don't like to go in the reverse order. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this brush out and push it through 2 more times. I just don't pull back. I don't like to go against the rifling. I know it doesn't matter, but this is just how I am. I do the same thing on my rifles, and I'm just OCD about it. You know, you do you. Push it through 1 more time. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the jag. Whatever you want to use to push your patch down the barrel. We're just going to go ahead and run a dry patch down the barrel to soak up anything that's left in the barrel before we apply the lubricant. That'll take out all the debris and so on. Now this part I don't worry so much about going back into the barrel. Not that big of a deal, but you can see some of the crud and the crap that's coming off on the patch right there. Okay. Stir down the barrel. You probably can't tell, but the barrel is nice and shiny and clean. It just needs some lubricant to protect it. And it's going to be all set to go. Looks good. All right, so first things first, I've got a couple drops of oil on a patch, just a couple. Again, you don't want to leave too much residue inside the barrel, and you can run a dry patch through the barrel when you get done if you want to. Just go ahead and take your patch with oil and run that through the barrel. We just want to make sure the barrel has a nice thin protective coat that's inside of it, so that way it's ready to go, and if it's sitting around for a while, it's not going to rust out, especially if you live in a high humidity environment. Oh, I should probably also mention, if you want to, You can take a brush and scrub everything off, before you lubricate. If you've got a lot of crud and buildup on the gun, just feel free to brush everything down if you need to. This gun is clean because it's right out of the box, so it's not really an issue. Okay, the inside of the barrel is nice and clean. So again, patch, drop of oil on it. Nothing more than that. It doesn't take much. Go ahead and wipe off the barrel, and we'll just set the barrel off to the side. Make sure that the barrel has a thin coat of oil all the way around it. And once you do this a couple times, it'll be much easier. You won't have to use as much cleaner and oil, but this is kind of a first step, like a degreasing, if you will, of what we're doing here. Some guys like to use grease on their barrels and stuff. I'm just using this lubricant, standard lubricant, because I think it's going to work just fine. Go and wipe off the back. Okay, we'll go ahead and just set the barrel off to the side. That is done. Up next, we're going to go ahead and wipe off the your guide rod, or your recoil spring holders, they call it in the manual. Okay. Again, some people like to apply the grease directly to the metal parts. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you're getting some sort of lubricant on those parts and everything is coated. That's the most important thing. Okay, that looks nice. Okay, go ahead and set that off to the side. Okay, and now the little cap here for the recoil spring, we're going to wipe that off. There's a little bit of staining on the metal here, and it's not a residue I can take off. I don't know if that's just from the finish or the bluing or what it is. It looks like it's almost kind of fire formed on there, so I'm not going to mess with that because it's not sticky or greasy or anything like that. I really can't even feel it on the metal. It's almost like the metal's stained, which really is not a big deal. We're going to just go ahead and push that in there with the jag and get the inside of that cover cleaned out or lubricated. Okay, let's go ahead and set that off to the side. That's done. Okay, up next, we're going to go ahead and just wipe off the barrel bushing. Get that lubricated so it's all ready to go. I tend to leave a little more lubricant on this gun on the slide, inside the slide, on the rails, the channels, and so on. Okay, looks good. Excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead and push it through. Again, the reassembly on this might seem a little bit daunting, and sometimes it takes me 1 or 2 attempts to get it to go right, just because I don't disassemble and clean 1911s that often. I've done a lot of cleaning videos, but 1911s I've only seen a couple visitations on the channel in terms of the cleaning. Now, I've shot them quite a bit. I own one. Should probably clean it more often, but anyway. Go ahead and wipe off the slide stop, takedown lever, slide release, multi-combo lever, as we're calling it at this point. Okay, that's done. All right, let's grab a clean patch now since we're going to go inside the barrel. Couple drops of lube. Since we're going to clean out the inside of the slide, let's go ahead and wipe out the inside of the slide now. Again, make sure that every edge has some sort of oil on it as a protectant, because we've basically done a degreasing at this point. Get in there. There we go. Let's wipe off the front face here where the firing pin comes out. Yeah, you can kind of wipe off the outside a little bit if you want to. We'll do that at the very end when the gun's reassembled though. Get in there. Let's get your finger in there. Something else I like to do is just go ahead and take your jag with your cleaning patch on it, and get this front part where it's kind of hard, especially if you have big fingers or big hands. You just kind of rub the inside of it and get the oil in there. Okay, now go ahead and grab your cotton swab. Drop of oil on there. Go ahead and run that down the channels on the inside of the slide. We're just right here. Go and do that. Again, I'm hoping all this is in focus for you guys right now. There we go. I'm actually going to put a literal drop of oil down there and let that run down the slide. There's a lot of metal there. And then we'll wipe off the excess with a Q-tip here in just a sec. There we go. Okay, go ahead and just wipe that off. So now there's lubricant in that channel. This back part of this slide right here, make sure you've got just a little bit of thin bead of lubricant down here also. Pretty much anything that's going to have metal contact, you want to make sure you've got lubricant on, as I mentioned before. Okay, looks good. Okay, and then also this little channel right here that your barrel bushing is going to rest in, you want to make sure you've got some lubricant in there too. All right, I'd say this is looking decent. Okay, we'll just go ahead. So the inside is now basically ready to go, and again, you can do any kind of scrubbing that you need to. You always want to kind of focus on that area around the firing pin, but you also want to keep that dry. So when I get done with this, I also like to take a dry patch and just wipe off that front facing section. It's basically a stainless steel that's polished, and you don't want oil getting down there where the firing pin is. Okay, we'll set that off to the side for reassembly. All right, now at this point, we're going to go ahead and put a couple drops of oil on a patch and just wipe off the frame all the way around. Let's go ahead and do that. Make sure that the frame has a little bit of oil on every single square inch of it. Get that wiped out, top of the rails. And again, we're going to focus on getting lubricant on those rails, because that's where all of your metal contact is. And you want that well lubricated, especially when you're breaking the pistol in. It'll help everything glide nice and smooth so that you have less malfunctions. As 1911s can be finicky sometimes right out of the box. It just depends on the manufacturer and the make and the model. I've got a Ruger SR1911 that's been solid right out of the box. It's been a great 1911 for me. And again, it's okay if we got a little bit of oil inside this magazine well, because that's pretty much all that's going to go in there. Again, keep your finger off the trigger. And any part that's not lubricated, once we reassemble, like the levers and stuff, we can move the levers up and we can go ahead and get everything nice and lubed. And that'll be all set to go, okay? All right, now go ahead and grab your Q-tip again, and let's continue lubrication of the frame. Okay, a couple drops of oil on the Q-tip, and go ahead and get inside those channels there, get those lubricated. Now again, if you think there's a little too much excess oil, things are looking wet, just go ahead and wipe off the excess with the dry patch. Go and get the top here, because this is all going to be metal on metal contact here. This whole top portion, it's okay to have a little bit of lube in here all the way across. Again, super light coating. So we're going to go ahead and put those grip panels back on now, and I'm going to give Defense Dad a special pair of M-Arms grips for loaning me the pistol for making the video for the channel. All right, so let's get started. All right, so for reassembly here, we're really going to take our time. We're going to go ahead and just take our slide, take our barrel, go ahead and push the barrel in through the front of the slide, as you can see, like this. Okay, it's going to sit back in there. It's going to lock into place. It should look like that when it's in there properly, okay? This little circle right here, we'll have to make sure that that's in the proper spot so that the takedown lever goes through it when we reassemble. You can go ahead and take your barrel bushing at this point, and you're going to start off about the 4 o'clock position. I think I might have said the 2 o'clock position earlier. My bad on that. Just go ahead and rotate it back all the way to about the 9 o'clock position and just hold on. Okay, now at this point, we'll go ahead and take our cap, and we've got our recoil spring. Go ahead and put your recoil spring back on the cap and push it in from the front. Just kind of let that sit as such. Then go ahead and take your guide rod. It's this cutout part right here, this scalloped edge, this is going to sit on the barrel when you reassemble it. So we're going to set it in like that. And we will move on to our next step, which is probably the most complicated. All right, so for the next step, we just have everything sitting here on the countertop. I've got this little loop move forward in the barrel right here, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the gun and the frame and slide it in from the back so that nothing falls out while we're reassembling it. So this is one way you can do it. Here we go. Okay, just went ahead and slid everything together, and that's okay that this little cap popped off here. We're all set to go, okay? All right, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next step. Now, when I reassemble it, when I'm not doing a cleaning video, I usually don't have the slide. I'm usually holding onto the slide and I put it back together like up off the ground. But for you guys, because we're doing this on camera, we're trying to show you an easy way to do it. You wanna go ahead and take your takedown lever. So it looks like this. You've got the knurling part to the back. You're gonna go ahead and start to push that in here just a little bit, okay? Now what we want to do is we need to slide back the slide so that that little tiny cutout right here is right above that square right there, so that we're able to push the takedown lever all the way through, okay? So go ahead and pull back a little bit until you get that where you want it. And again, this part's always the trickiest, okay? Okay, go ahead and push it through and then let go. Now we can go ahead and work on getting that cap and recoil spring back into place. You want to be careful with that, and we'll continue. All right, so I'm going to kind of do this at a little bit of an angle. All we're going to do is we're going to push back down on the cap, okay? Now remember, it's going to be under spring pressure. Take your barrel bushing and just slide it a little bit counterclockwise until it keeps that cap in place. Be very careful because it is under pressure. There we go. And then you can go ahead and slide it and lock it back into place. Now, if you happen to have a barrel bushing wrench, this is even easier because you can just take it and move it. When you learn how to use these come in really handy, but this is also just as good. And since I got gloves on, I got to be careful because these have a tendency to get caught in a lot of the different parts. There we go. Okay, it looks decent. Let's go ahead and test it. Okay, it's nice and smooth. Verify it's empty. It is. Okay, go ahead and dry fire once or twice. Okay, and what you want to do is go ahead and verify that the safety is going to work. So go ahead and pull back on the slide. Okay, that the pistol is unloaded. We check the chamber. Okay, go ahead and press up on your safety lever, pulling the trigger. Good to go. Okay, go ahead and dry fire. Put your magazine in. Make sure that the pistol is going to lock back like it's supposed to. Excellent, and it is done. So here's what it looks like with these oh-so-sweet M-Arms grips on there. That definitely dresses it up quite a bit. Again, this pistol already has the cool skeletonized trigger, the extended beaver tail, the special rear serrations on the back of it. This was a Davidson's exclusive model that Defense Dad picked up, and you can still find them online if you look around for them. I'm not going to mention price because YouTube is kind of funny when you mention firearms and prices, but these are gloss, and this almost has like a little bit of a nitride finish to it. It looks really, really nice, but it cleaned up well. So the last thing we're going to do is just go ahead and just give it one general wipe off, drop oil on a patch, and we'll bring everything back for a few final words. All right, guys, so shout out to Aegis Gun Care Gun Cleaning Products for sending me the cleaning products that we used in this video. We got this MC1911S XLV in tip-top shape. It's ready to go to the range for Defense Dad. So again, shout out to Defense Dad for loaning me this gun. Enjoy those M-Arms grips there, Defense Dad. I think you're really gonna like those on the range. But in the meantime, guys, I want you to make sure you like and subscribe, mash that bell so you don't miss any of the cool videos that we have on this channel. Again, I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. If you want to buy those Aegis Gun Care gun cleaning products, click on the link down below. That'll be the affiliate link for the channel. You'll help the channel out, and you will definitely be able to find exactly what you need for the products. And also use discount code TravisP11, and you will get 10% off your order when you check out. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Have fun, be safe, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.